This is a normal slide flute. As you can see, I'm having no fun playing this whatsoever because this is a really, really dumb instrument that no one takes seriously, and it's pretty stupid. I got it for like 50 cents. It's pretty dumb, right? So why would anyone want to buy this? So it was my idea to try to make this a smarter, more accurate, more precise, and more fun instrument to have around. Introducing the Smart Slide Whistle. So I'll get into how this actually works, but first I'm going to explain how I built this. So this is what we have so far for the automatic slide whistle. We have a fan blower. I think these are used for 3D printers. Attached to the top of this where you put your mouth. I made I 3D printed some little adapter piece to go from here to here, and then hot glued it to seal it up so there's no air gaps in there. And then I made this 3D printed part which kind of just snaps onto here like that, and then this will hold the servo like this, and then there'll be a gear on top of the servo, and the rack, as you just saw, slid into here. So the servo will move this up and down, right, and then that will move this in and out. Just like before with the kalimba, we're going to be mounting the servo horn thing that we cut up using a soldering iron inside of this gear mount, like this. Right, so I sanded it down so that it would fit snugly into place. I might hot glue it just to secure it so it doesn't fall out, but it's pressure fitted and there's no way that it's going to come out. And so then I put, that has the teeth that match these teeth really, really well. I can't print at that fine resolution, so that's why we're using the servo horn. So now I can put this onto here, right, and now this will turn the servo accordingly. Right, so now I want to mount this all the way up and then have this as low as possible and have the servo here so that they mount together. And look, they mesh really well, so as this thing will turn like this, this will cause the linear actuator to move up and down. Okay, so I cut this off because it was getting in the way. So my plan is to hot glue this directly to here so that I can have a range from, say, here to here, because this is the furthest it extends. Right, I should be able to play from here to like that range. And then, you know, say like these upper notes are way too high pitched or something, or they aren't in the scale that I want to play, I can just cut this down more so that I can bring this in more, like that, and then it won't interfere with the frame. That's the plan, so I'm just going to execute on that right now. And then the cool part is that now that these two are secured, I can actually turn this, right? So I can turn this, and because this is just clicked on into place, this can freely turn around. But I think just for testing, I want to get this to be stuck in place. I'm just going to put a bead of hot glue around the edge that I can easily rip off, so I can remove the whole structure if I need to, just to hold it in place so it doesn't like shift around. And I'm going to try to make it so that, right, this is the front, right, this is mounted in the front, right, so I'm going to make it so the orientation is frontward so you can see everything happening when you see it being played. Alright, so this is what we have so far. I have a transistor circuit here that's controlling the 12 volts going to this air blower because it runs at 12 volts. And then the Arduino is just controlling the gate of the transistor to turn it on and off. And then I have the linear actuator model that we have from the kalimba, which is in the previous video if you want to check that out, controlling the piston that slides in and out of the slide flute to control the pitch. So the rack in this rack and pinion model is hot glued to that, just so it can actuate up and down according to how the servo moves. So I'll show you what it sounds like right now. So I'll plug it in. And I just have it going full blast, and then having this just go between 0 and 180. And so it works pretty well for the most part. The main issue here is that the limited range of notes. So you see here, I just made an example file just to show that it can produce a range of notes, between, I think it's right now it's between A and C, but it's a very, very limited range of notes. It can only go between those 3 notes because the gear is so small. So I thought that this would allow for more range. Unfortunately, it does not. So I need to print a bigger gear and then move the servo back so that it makes room for the bigger gear. And then I can, because I have a bigger gear, I can rotate it a further distance, causing the linear actuator to move up and down further, producing a wider range of notes. So once I figure that out and get that all functioning, then I can program in each note to be a separate function that I can call, and then I can play that note, by programming the song as I did with the kalimba. Also in the future, what I want to do is add an H bridge, so I can immediately shut off the fan rather than having it slow down by itself and slowly lose the pitch, as you just heard. So that's all planned for next week. This is just a prototype just to see if I can get it working in the first place. And hopefully by the end of next week, I will have My Heart Will Go On from the Titanic playing on the automatic slide whistle. I'm trying to recreate that meme from 10 years ago. If it's better, then I successfully made a smart whistle. If it's worse, then that just makes the meme better. Either way, I win. Hopefully I get it done. See you next week. Peace.